Becoming a head coach in the NFL is a position that very few have been able to attain. You are essentially a CEO, managing game strategy, evaluating talent, interacting with the press, managing your coaching staff, interacting with your team, and most importantly, gaining respect from them, which is arguably the most difficult aspect. You are leading 53 grown men who quite possibly have the biggest egos on the planet, along with getting paid pretty darn well to do so. Not many get into coaching from becoming a ball boy. Welcome to the rise of Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel was born March 6, 1983 in Aurora, Colorado. When Mike was just 4 years old, his father tragically passed away in a car accident, leaving him to be raised by a single mother. Like many of us, when he was young, he was into sports, so much so that you could consider him obsessive when it came to the topic. He set a goal for himself: be in the NFL. Mike was 4'10" in 7th grade and was lucky to be 100 pounds soaking wet. This was one point where most would put down the dream to play in the NFL, but Mike was smart and he set a goal to be in the NFL. He didn't have to play, but the question was how. Mike's mom would work long hours and leave for work at 7 a.m. and not get home until late at night. They lived close by the Denver Broncos training facility, and Mike would ride to the training facility to watch training camp and stay there for the entire day. His goal was not only just to watch practice, but also seek autographs from players. One day, he got lucky enough to get an autograph from Robert Del Pino, the running back for the team at the time. Come later in the day, Mike saw another opportunity to get a second autograph from Del Pino. Mike was sharp and he knew that if he tried to go up and get an autograph from him a second time, that he would get noticed immediately because he was wearing a bright colored Charlotte Hornets hat. Mike took off the hat and set it aside, and he successfully got a second autograph, but there was one problem. When he returned to retrieve his hat, it wasn't there. Mike began to cry and he asked a Denver Broncos staff member named Gary McCune if he could check the lost and found for his hat, but it wasn't there and Mike went home hatless. The next day, Mike is at the Denver Broncos practice yet again. Gary McCune, the same staff member that searched for Mike's hat, handed him a brand new one with the price tag still on it. Gary ended up getting introduced to Mike's mom and the two actually ended up going on to get married. This was great for Mike, not just that his mom was happy, but also because he had an in with the Denver Broncos and got the opportunity to be a ball boy for the team. This was a dream of Mike's to be involved in the NFL in any way possible, but his mind instantly went to dreaming bigger and he focused in on one single goal: becoming an NFL coach by age 40. This was a pretty incredible goal considering the fact that currently only 7 of the 32 coaches in the NFL are under 40, and when a head coaching job comes up, no matter the team, it is a highly sought after position. During his time as a ball boy, he would give the most amount of effort that he could, whether it was shagging balls or folding towels. Whether he knew it or not, he was leaving a good impression on the organization that he was serious about his role and would put in the work. Mike truly showed that he wanted to be there. In 2001, Mike went on to attend Yale, where he walked on as a wide receiver on the football team. He didn't get much playing time at all. Matter of fact, he barely sniffed the field, but he loved being around the game. Come his junior and senior year, he started to realize how much he enjoyed coaching his teammates. Just because Mike physically was not a force on the field, his teammates took notice that he had some pretty insane memory and recall when it came to life, and especially football. Mike graduated from Yale with a degree in history. In Yale being an Ivy League school, no matter what his degree was in, he had a lot of options. Mike looked into jobs in investment banking, but his heart was still around football and getting in the NFL. Coach Mike Shanahan still remembered Mike from when he was a ball boy with the Broncos. He was now a head coach for the Washington Redskins, and he offered Mike a coaching internship with the team, working with the wide receivers, which included the great Jerry Rice. Mike was just 22 years old and sat down with Coach Mike Shanahan and told him that he wants to become a Hall of Fame head coach in the NFL, and he would do anything that he could in order to get there. Life is great for Mike at this point, and he spends most of his nights out partying, so much so that Mike puts himself in a horrible position. He started showing up late and missing team meetings due to his party lifestyle. Coach Shanahan fired Mike McDaniel and told him that he is talented, but he needs to learn a hard lesson and grow up. Mike was absolutely crushed, and he was going to do whatever he could to make it back into the NFL. He landed a job as the running backs coach for the Sacramento Mountain Lions of the United Football League. During his time there, he met his wife one night at the nightclub. February 15, 2011, Coach Shanahan calls Mike McDaniel and offers him his job back as an offensive assistant for the Redskins. This was all he needed, another opportunity. He bounced around as an assistant for the Texans, Browns, and the Falcons. Mike learned his lesson not to show up late or miss any team meetings. However, members of the coaching staff are starting to get concerned about Mike's alcohol use, and he admitted to them that he had a problem. They sat Mike down and he agreed to go to rehab and get help, and he has been sober from alcohol ever since that day. He went on to become the run game offensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers, where they appeared in Super Bowl 51. After the season, he was promoted to offensive coordinator of the 49ers. McDaniel was starting to get noticed around the league and started to be in the discussion for head coaching vacancies around the NFL. The Miami Dolphins had recently fired Coach Brian Flores, leaving an opening head coaching job, and they hired Mike McDaniel as head coach, trusting him to lead the franchise. Mike McDaniel was just 39 years old at the time, accomplishing his goal of becoming an NFL head coach by age 40.
And I was like 28. I'm a student of the game, and I study, I watch film. I am very in it. Like, I had never heard anything to that point different about receiver play, because I unturned every stone. Mike McDaniel flipped everything that I knew about offensive football and receiver play on its head that year. And he was like, yo, I just need you to trust me, and you're going to have the best season you've ever had, and it's going to change how you think about football. And he hit every box. And so I've been preaching his praises.
Give me an example.
Ever since.
What do you do?
So Mike McDaniel, he has a very quirky personality. I don't know if you know that about him.
I love him.
Very, very quirky personality. He is a football savant. And I know people say, there's people who are mad scientists or offensive gurus. No, he is a Yale graduate. He is the kind of person that probably should be a scientist, but he just loves the game of football, right? And so he approaches it as such. He does not take any cliche. He does not take things the way that they've done. He doesn't, go with the flow because he's been told to do it this way. He gets a kick out of finding a different way, flipping what you think about football on its head, and then putting into practice to say, I told you there was a better way to do it.
I can't wait to see where his career takes him, because so far it has been entertaining to watch. He has been changing the way the game is being played, with some of the offensive strategies that are being used by McDaniel are being copied by other offensive play callers across the league. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't, and hit the notification bell, that way you don't miss any future videos. Here are a couple more videos to watch.